Arizona delivered again on Saturday against Houston, and it delivered in a major way away from Tucson. This season, Arizona, who is 25-2 right now, has won at Houston, has won at UConn, has won at BYU, has won against UCLA at Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, and also went to Vegas and won a close game against Florida. When I am evaluating teams for the NCAA tournament, one of the biggest things I look at is this: can this team, away from its home floor, be in a situation where it is beating top flight competition? And along with Duke, no team is answering the bell in that regard better than Arizona. And Arizona, as comfortable in its own skin as any team in the sport. Only 26.5% of Arizona's shots from the field as a team are from three-point range. And I go back to what I saw in an Arizona practice in the preseason. And obviously, great coaches are always ones who are always adapting to their personnel. Arizona is a power team, and this team, again, went to Houston and won without Coapete and without Dwayne Aristode. We'll see if they're going to be back in the lineup this week. Arizona's next game is Tuesday at Baylor. But Tommy Lloyd stopped practice multiple times when I was in Tucson when the ball was not being fed into the paint. And now you can see why. This is an Arizona team who knows exactly where the strength of this squad is, and it's obviously on the block, but it's also a team that has incredible balance. Now, in the really tight games this year, UConn, Saturday against Houston, UCLA at Intuit Dome, Jaden Bradley has stepped up and been a major closer for this team in crunch time. But one of the things that's changed, in my opinion, over the last 2 weeks has been Ivan Karchenkov has went from stalwart defender, utility guy, to a guy that is now really getting more comfortable at the offensive side of the floor. It is an extremely balanced team. One night, it could be Bradley. The next night, it could obviously be Krivas and Awaka. Another night, it could be somebody like Anthony Del Orso, who in 2 games last week, one at home against BYU, and then on Saturday at Houston, dropped 22 in each of those 2 games. Prior to those 2 games, Del Orso had not scored more than 20 in a single outing this season. As balanced a team as we're going to see in college basketball. And now you start thinking ahead, and you start thinking about Arizona's program, a program that has not been to a Final Four in 25 years. To me, this is Arizona's best chance to get to a Final Four since 2014, when Sean Miller had Nick Johnson, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, Aaron Gordon, and Caleb Tarczewski. You have to remember, that season, Arizona was far and away the best team in college basketball. Also had T.J. McConnell on that team. Brandon Ashley, one of Arizona's starting forwards, broke his foot late in the season, but still Arizona had enough to be a 1 seed in the West region. Arizona lost in overtime in a 1-possession game against Wisconsin that year. Now, Arizona was a 1 seed in 2022 under Tommy Lloyd. Why do I think this is Arizona's best chance since 2014? Well, in 2015, Arizona with Sean Miller, Stanley Johnson, similar crew from 2014, had to beat Wisconsin again when Wisconsin had Kaminsky and Decker. Then in 2022, Tommy Lloyd was a 1 seed, but that 1 seed did not lead Arizona to being in the West region. That's not going to be the case this year. Arizona will be the number 1 seed in the West region on Selection Sunday. What does that mean? First and second round games in San Diego, and then if you advance there, you go to San Jose to play in the Sweet 16 in the Elite Eight. Arizona's fan base, especially on the West Coast, always travels. When Arizona plays big games in Vegas, they're always there. When they play big games in LA, they're always there. Now, Arizona has had geographic advantages in the NCAA tournament in big spots and lost. In 2003, Arizona, with Lute Olson, was a 1 seed, lost to Kansas and Roy Williams in the 2003 West Regional Final. And then also Arizona with Tommy Lloyd 2 years ago, when the West Regional was in Los Angeles. Arizona was a 2 seed. Carolina was a 1 seed that year. Arizona lost to Clemson in Los Angeles when Brad Brownell's team got to the Elite Eight and then lost to Alabama. Alabama went to the Final Four for the first time in program history. Arizona is set up for a breakthrough, and Tommy Lloyd, we've had him on this show. He talked about that. Stay the course. Sooner or later, you got to break through. But if you look right now at the last couple of years since Tommy Lloyd has been Arizona's head coach, Arizona has always been in position to get to a Final Four in the NCAA tournament. First year, 2022, 1 seed, lost to Houston in the Sweet 16. 2023, Arizona was a 2 seed, had just won the Pac-12 tournament over a banged-up UCLA team, lost to Princeton. 2024, lost to Clemson, and then last year, lost to Duke. So last year was the first time under Tommy Lloyd that Arizona hadn't lost to a lower-seeded team. Arizona's going to be the 1 seed in the West, and they, to me, just cap off a fascinating group of storylines that we have right now in the Big 12. Now, on the bracket reveal on Saturday on CBS, Arizona was right behind Duke and Michigan as the third number 1 seed, as we see right there. These were the seeds that obviously changed after Saturday's results and all the results the last couple of days. Iowa State was a 1, and Houston was the first 2. Those 2 teams lost on Saturday, which opened the door for UConn to return to the 1 line. So UConn, to me, is a projected number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I'll get to the Huskies and what they have coming up. But with that said, because Iowa State and Houston both lost, now we have different things coming to the forefront. And it starts, to me, with the game tonight between Houston and Kansas. 2 teams coming off losses. As a matter of fact, Houston is coming off 2 losses. And how about this? Kelvin Sampson and Houston have not endured a 3-game losing streak since the 16-17 season. That is what is at stake tonight at Allen Fieldhouse, where Kansas is 2 days removed from a complete no-show against Cincinnati. Now, full credit to Wes Miller, full credit to Cincinnati's coaching staff for getting the Bearcats ready to go to Allen Fieldhouse and dominate Kansas 84-68. Cincinnati, though, nowhere near the NCAA tournament picture as of now. That could change here over the next couple of weeks. But Kansas and Houston are 2 teams that are hooking up tonight in Lawrence, 2 teams who are desperate for a victory. Another storyline, because there was a sad storyline or 2 last week in the Big 12 with what happened, obviously, to Richie Saunders at BYU. You knew that A.J. Debansa would amplify his game with Richie Saunders going out of the lineup. You didn't know he would do it to this level. In the 2 games since Richie Saunders has went out of BYU's lineup due to a season-ending ACL injury, A.J. Debansa is averaging 32 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game, 5.5 assists per game, shooting better than 50 from the field, shooting 40 from 3. He has put on his Superman cape, and he now looks like somebody who is playing at a Carmelo Anthony Syracuse freshman year type of level. Cam Boozer is going to be the National Player of the Year, but nobody is producing right now in college basketball like A.J. Debansa.